Hey kids, let's talk about money. We talk about money in this church 2.5 times a year. Half a time, very brief introduction to the Catholic Appeal. In the fall, full time, when we talk about our annual financial report and the grand annual appeal. And the second full time each spring. So guess what? It's spring. Our fiscal year in this parish goes from July 1st of one year through June 30th of the next year. So we're coming to the end of our fiscal year. Our budget for this parish, the money that we contribute, supports all of the standard work of this parish. The lights in this building, the upkeep of our facilities, the salaries of our very hardworking staff, the materials for our religious education programs, all of which are free, the food that we serve to one another. So for this fiscal year, our budget has been going very well. There are always some surprises. Some are happy surprises, some are not so happy surprises, but basically we're on track. So we contribute to support the ministry of Jesus through this parish weekly through the offertory, once per month through that special monthly parish projects collection. All of that money combined never meets our expenses, which is fine. The pattern of giving in this parish is we have 2 extra big collections to contribute the income to meet our expenses. One in the fall called the Grand Annual Appeal, one in the spring called, and this is clever, the Spring Collection. So we're about to have the Spring Collection. We're on track where we should be. We need to raise by the end of June $150,000 to complete our fiscal year in the black. We should do this. So 2 weekends from now, June 1st and 2nd, at the second collection, we'll take up the spring collection. Many of you, I hope this is familiar to you, some of you are new. There are 3 principal reasons why these collections are consistently successful in this parish. We contribute more here than anyone would guess from 50,000 feet. It doesn't add up economically. We're the poorest community in this state, and the amount of money that we collectively contribute to do the work of Jesus, you would never think this is possible, but it is. 3 reasons, I'll be quick. One is 100% participation. Many of you know this. Every man, woman, and child in this community is expected, he reacted badly to that, is expected to contribute to this. Why? Fair is fair. If you're baptized, you have the right to the ministry of Jesus Christ through this parish. If Charles came today and asked any one of us for something from this parish, and we said, no, you're excluded, you would know right away that's ridiculous. If Charles says today, I exclude myself from contributing to the work of this parish, that is ridiculous. We have rights and we have responsibilities. We do not have cameras with face recognition so that I can tell who's not giving. But I am the person who signs the letters, thanking people for their gifts and reminding them of last year's gifts. My strong impression is that almost all of you contribute to this collection. If you're an outlier who still doesn't do this, I've told you in the past, you have no friends, nobody likes you. But to put it more positively, St. Paul is quoted in the Acts of the Apostles. You know this. He says that Jesus himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Until you give, you won't know this. If you don't give, you have a much smaller life and a much less godly life than you will have when you give. Try it, I promise you. Number 2, generous gifts. This is extremely important. God is only generous. God never is stingy. God is never cheap. God always gives us more than we need. There are always 12 baskets of leftovers. If I am giving a gift to God, to do God's work in this community, it needs to be generous. And this is very practical. We are a community with very different financial means. So generous in this collection for a child might be $25. That might be very generous. For some adults in this community, it will be a 5-figure gift. Consistently, one of the strengths of our parish is when we all give generously, of course God gives us everything we need to do his work. Third and finally, sacrificial. If you don't get this by now, after Lent, Holy Week, and Easter, I don't know what's going on, love is sacrificial. That is the ultimate revelation of God's love for us. Jesus sacrifices his life to save us. If I am giving a gift to God to do the work of Jesus in this community, it needs to be sacrificial, which means it's an amount of money that I, Paul O'Brien, in fact want to use for other things, that I sacrifice to do the work of Jesus in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So 100% participation, generous sacrificial gifts. If you are a registered parishioner, you should have received a letter from me with a yellow envelope. If you gave in recent years, your gift is cited. Here's my letter to me. That's a little disturbing, isn't it? Dear Father Paul, from me, to me. And I write something personal at the bottom, you're the best. At any rate, it cites my gift last spring. This was a lot of money for me last spring. So take a look next 2 weeks, consider what you're giving. Is it generous? Is it sacrificial? Put it in the yellow envelope and bring it to Mass 2 weekends from now. Or you can do this online through our website. I have never asked any of you to do something I have not done. I pledge to you today, I will give at least 25% more than I gave last spring. It's a lot of money for me. I hope it's a lot of money for you. And I hope at the end of this June, we will experience new joy.